Bernie Sanders has endorsed Hillary Clinton for the Democratic presidential nomination. Tonight, we look at the burn that made Clinton bend. I'm Brent Goff, and this is The Day.
I have come here to make it as clear as possible as to why I am endorsing Hillary Clinton.
I have to say it is such a great privilege to be here with Senator Sanders.
And I intend to do everything I can to make certain she will be the next president of the United States.
Being here with him in New Hampshire, I can't help but reflect how much more enjoyable this election is going to be now that we are on the same side.
Well, welcome to the program, everyone. On the day that was destined to come, no matter how much Democrats in the U.S. liked feeling the burn. Today, Bernie Sanders walked onto a stage in New Hampshire together with Hillary Clinton and told his supporters his vote, their votes, now belong to her. His endorsement ends more than a year of campaign clashes within the Democratic Party, and it ensures unity, or at least the appearance of unity, going into the national convention later this month. Well, tonight we'll ask, how much did Hillary have to change herself to extinguish the threat of a Bernie Sanders wildfire in November? We begin tonight with two trying to become one.
She will be the Democratic nominee for president. And I intend to do everything I can to make certain she will be the next president of the United States. I have come here today not to talk about the past, but to focus on the future. That future will be shaped more by what happens on November 8th in voting booths across our nation than by any other event in the world. I have come here to make it as clear as possible as to why I am endorsing Hillary Clinton. And the profound lesson that I have learned is that this campaign is not really about Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or any other candidate who sought the presidency. This campaign is about the needs of the American people, and there is no doubt in my mind that as we head into November, Hillary Clinton is far and away the best candidate to do that.
Quite a development there. Let's pull in our Washington correspondent, Richard Walker, to talk about what we have seen today. Good evening to you, Richard. This moment was inevitable for the candidate, Bernie Sanders, if you just look at the delegate count. Is it inevitable, though, that his 13 million supporters, that they will become Clintonites by November?
No, it is not inevitable. And, I mean, Sanders supporters are really among the most passionate that we've met, during the last few months covering these primaries right across America. Of all of the candidates that you've seen competing on both sides, including Donald Trump's on the Republican side, I think Bernie Sanders are perhaps the most passionate of all, particularly in terms of their sort of ideological commitment to the things that he stands for. And during this campaign, which has been really bitter over the last few months between them, particularly in the latter stages of it, I mean, these people have developed developed a really deeply cynical view of Hillary Clinton if they didn't already have one before then. So as somebody who really kind of represents an awful lot of what they're fighting against in terms of establishment politics and the role of big money in politics and things like that. So the big risk for Hillary Clinton is that those people now defect to either Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, or to Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, both of whom are very much now the outsiders in this race, but do have a certain amount of policy overlap with Bernie Sanders. So Hillary Clinton trying to do a couple of things to counter that. On the one hand, like taking on many of Bernie Sanders' positions, moving towards the left, but also stressing that she's really the only person standing between Donald Trump and the White House now.
Yeah, and you know, Richard, what was perhaps even more remarkable than Sanders' endorsement today were the promises that were made by Hillary Clinton once she becomes president. Just take a listen to what she said.
In my first 100 days as president, we will make the biggest investment in new, good-paying jobs since World War II. Both Senator Sanders and I believe anyone who is willing to work hard should be able to find a job that pays well enough to support a family, and Bernie is right. $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage. We're not cutting the minimum wage, we're raising the minimum wage. Over these last few weeks, Bernie and I have worked together on plans to put college within reach for more people and to ensure that everyone in America has access to quality, affordable health care. We have to reform our broken criminal justice system, take back our democracy from the wealthy special interests, and make our economy work for everyone, not just those at the top.
Richard, I mean, I wanted to say, you know, where is Hillary Clinton? What have you done with her? I mean, it sounds like Bernie Sanders. I mean, he really has pushed Hillary to the left, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And this is really the price that Bernie Sanders has extracted for this very late endorsement of Hillary Clinton. And the reason that he put off the endorsement for so long, I think, is that he wanted to extract the highest price possible, not just in terms of the things that Hillary Clinton herself is promising, but also the Democrats' own party platform, which has just been tied up this week. And the Sanders campaign are claiming that it's sort of 80% their own stuff with all sorts of positions, minimum wage, all sorts of the stuff that we heard in that clip there. But this is, of course, Bernie Sanders' way of saying to his supporters who've become, you know, so passionately behind him and who he told he was going to give a political revolution. Well, he's saying, well, the political revolution is still happening. It's just happening in a different form. It's happening in the form of this platform. The question is, though, will these things actually happen? And you only have to ask Barack Obama. I mean, you can want to do all sorts of things in Washington, but getting things through Congress and things like that can trip you up along the way.
Oh, yeah, he could sing a couple of songs about that for sure. What about Donald Trump? He obviously noticed this endorsement today, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Donald Trump's press team were obviously ready with their fingers on the send button just as this endorsement came out. My own inbox, I got a barrage of emails picking up on all sorts of the fights that Clinton and Sanders have had over the last few months. You know, clips of Sanders saying that Clinton's not qualified to be president, or talking about her proximity to Wall Street and things like that. And Trump himself tweeted the gag, like, Bernie Sanders endorsing crooked Hillary Clinton is like Occupy Wall Street endorsing Goldman Sachs. So obviously Trump is going to have fun with this, but he's not realistically going to win over an awful lot of Bernie Sanders supporters to his own side. I think that's very unlikely. And
Richard, briefly, okay, does this mean that the Democratic National Convention later this month is going to be a sleeper and the Republican convention is where the action is going to be?
Yeah, well, it is looking that way. I mean, there is one unanswered question, of course, about the Democratic side. Who is Hillary Clinton going to pick as her running mate to be vice president? That we still don't know, although even the gossip about that is really that she might go for quite a dull pick on that. Someone called Tim Kaine, a former governor of Virginia. The chatter is that he's currently the favorite and someone who's seen as a rather staid, sort of safe pair of hands. I think that's going to be an underlying argument of the Clinton campaign over the next few months. Do you want the sort of excitement and uncertainty of Donald Trump, or do you want a safe pair of hands in Hillary Clinton? And as for the Republicans, certainly I think the convention next week could throw up some surprises. Even this week, as the committee deciding the rules of that convention, that could throw a spanner in Donald Trump's direction. So we're going to be heading up to Cleveland, Ohio this weekend to cover it. We'll be there for you on DW News from Monday.
Yep, we know you'll be there, and we will have it on the day all next week as well. All right, our correspondent Richard Walker on the story for us tonight in Washington. Richard, as always, thank you very much.